Welcome to the NonProfit Voice, a podcast series brought to you by NonProfit Pro, the go-to resource for nonprofit management and strategy. In each episode, we're going to sit down with leaders of nonprofit organizations, the people responsible for paving the way for our sector, along with key technology strategy partners who are transforming our industry. Here at the NonProfit Voice, we'll have refreshing conversations in which we will all learn more about the convergence of nonprofit and technology. Be sure to follow us on social media and visit our website to find more episodes of the NonProfit Voice. And you can download all of the NonProfit Voice episodes on iTunes, Google Play, or Spotify. We will have all the links down below.
Hi, welcome back to the NonProfit Voice. I'm Amanda Cole, the editor-in-chief of NonProfit Pro and host of today's episode, which is supported by Philadelphia insurance companies. Learn more at phly.com about their 30 years of providing customized insurance solutions that meet the unique needs of nonprofits and social service organizations. Thank you for joining me on today's podcast, where we will be discussing not only how to limit liability as a result of water damage for your nonprofit, but also how to reduce the damage and costly repairs in the first place. With us today are Lisa Elsass, Executive Director at Rio Concho Retirement Community in San Angelo, Texas, and Lenna Kennedy, Risk Management Consultant at Philadelphia Insurance Companies. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Before we get into today's topic, Lisa, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization?
Certainly. Rio Concho Retirement Communities has been here since 1962, providing San Angelo with affordable senior housing. We have 4 communities that provide different array of lifestyle choices, apartments, patio home communities, and different amenities for senior age 62 and over. I've been with the company for about 22 years. I've been the executive director since January of 2020.
And Lenna?
Yes, hi, I'm the risk services consultant for Philadelphia Insurance, Southwest and Central regions, with accounts located in Texas and Oklahoma. Both of my designated states suffered a tremendous losses from the freeze event of 2021, hence the need for the technology we're discussing today. I've been working with Lisa here for about a little over a year now, right about the time she took over. I came in shortly after, and I've really appreciated her positive outlook on working with risk management to reduce risk exposures when it comes to her account.
Awesome. With that, let's jump into today's topic. So Rio Concho is the second largest landowner in the city with 4 retirement communities, as well as various churches, carports, storage units, and other buildings throughout the city. So Lisa, your nonprofit actually experienced extensive water damage last year. Can you walk us through what happened?
Certainly. As you said, we're one of the largest landowners in the city. We have a lot of houses. We have a lot of apartments. We do have a church located on one of our properties. And last year, West Texas experienced an unprecedented freeze event. Sub-zero temperatures in West Texas just don't happen. This went on for days and days and days and days. Pipes were bursting all over the city. The power was out for several days. Nobody was going to check on the church. Nobody was going to church. Nobody was leaving their driveways. We were all kind of snowbound in. Well, the church had a burst water pipe and it went for days, and it caused extensive water damage in the church. It ended up being, of course, just slightly below our deductible of $10,000, but the entire flooring and up 3 feet up the wall had to be gutted and replaced because that water kept going. Nobody was going to check on the church.
And Lenna, that's just one example of a risky situation with costly repairs that nonprofits may face as the result of water damage. Can you share some other examples nonprofits should be aware of?
Yes, many nonprofit organizations such as Lisa's were affected by that 2021 freeze and the lack of the power heat, which led to multiple pipe bursts leaking within the buildings. In many cases, those leaks were not identified for several days. This caused additional damages that may have been avoided with the technology that we're speaking about today. Other situations I've come across in reference to where PhillySense could have been a helpful tool for our nonprofit organizations is losses associated with water heaters leaking, sprinkler riser systems have leaks, HVAC system in upper level or attics leaking and down onto the lower levels. Sump pump drains getting clogged, boiler room leaks, laundry facility leaks, anywhere piping is exposed to exterior doors where the temperature is going to drop the fastest if in an event like we had occurs again. Those are just some of the areas that would be a good use for these devices.
And as you mentioned PhillySense already. So the Philadelphia Insurance Companies offers this complimentary sensor system, and it's called PhillySense. Can you just explain what it is and how it works?
Sure, yes. PhillySense is a technology solution. It's going to allow our nonprofit organizations early detection to mitigate or reduce any water damages. The devices are small battery-operated sensors that detect the presence of water and low temperatures in the areas of concern. These PhillySense devices actually use a cell signal versus a Wi-Fi, which means the alerts will be sent even if the power is out, which would be very beneficial in events like we had with all the power outages. Devices can be installed in multiple locations throughout a building, and you will have access to a mobile app, cell phone app, that will allow you to monitor the location and the sensor readings. The devices are externally monitored 24/7 by Hartford Steam Boiler, which is the company that is a service provider for the PhillySense devices that we branded with our PhillySense names. Alerts will be sent via text and email, and if a severe situation occurs where water is detected that shouldn't be there, a phone call would occur. PhillySense is provided at no cost to our policyholders who have building structural coverage. So anybody that has a policy with the actual building insured on it can have these devices for no cost.
And Lisa, after your organization's extensive water damage, you actually learned of PhillySense and worked with Lenna to determine where it would best benefit Rio Concho. Since your nonprofit has so many properties across the city, can you kind of walk us through and tell us how that process worked in terms of figuring out where and what to target?
Actually, I shout out to Lenna. She was fantastic about helping us, because when she first brought this technology to me, I was a little hesitant. I was like, we've got 800 units. We're talking about 1,000 toilets, hundreds and hundreds of hot water heaters. How do we, get this down? We can't have all of those monitored. And so we just kind of went through a very interactive process of saying, okay, what areas are not going to be routinely monitored on a regular basis where somebody's not going to see it? And so we talked about areas like in the penthouse where we have the HVAC systems in our high-rise system, the big hot water boilers. Obviously the church, because the church isn't occupied every single day. Water heaters that are stuck behind a closet or put in a mechanical room where somebody isn't going in and out of there every day. In the resident apartments and resident units, there's somebody there, they're going to report a leak themselves, but we were able to kind of identify all of those areas across my multiple properties where they would do the most good, because the device could do the monitoring rather than an individual.
Awesome. And Lenna had mentioned how they work off cell phone signals. So not only is that great for an instance where you had a power outage, but you also had you were also able to troubleshoot to kind of make sure you found the best location as well.
Yes, absolutely. So with it working off of a cell phone system, and of course we're in West Texas, so coverage can be spotty in some areas. Trying to find that perfect balance of putting it in an area where it's going to get an appropriate cell phone signal, but also be close enough to where there's the potential for there to be water for the device to be useful. And so we had situations where the system was alerting that it wasn't getting a signal, and then just being able to work with Philly about, actual physically positioning it within the area to get the best of both worlds, a close enough cell phone signal, and be able to actually be detecting water. And they will call you if it starts to alert, because, it's dropping signal, and say, okay, well, let's try it over here and see if that works a little bit better.
Awesome. And what's your nonprofit's experience been now with water damage and just working with the PhillySense system since it's been installed?
We actually did recently just have a situation where we had a large hot water heater in one of our apartment communities that was in a mechanical room that started leaking. The device did exactly what it's supposed to. It alerted my maintenance guy. He got out really, really quick. He was able to address the leak before there was any damage at all whatsoever. So it functioned exactly how it's supposed to. We do get alerts, sometimes, drop signal or what have you. I would really have a false alert and be able to go, oh, no, it's fine. But when we really needed it, it was there, and it prevented that extensive damage that we had seen before we had the system.
Awesome. And I mean, that looks like a great place to wrap, unless either of you have anything else you wanted to add.
No, just I appreciate you, and I appreciate your time and help with the system, Lenna.
Yes, and thank you. I wanted to say thanks, Lisa, for everything you do for working with me. And then also, Amanda, thank you for having me on here as well.
Awesome. That's all the time we have for today's episode. Thank you for listening. I hope that you know a lot more about how to prevent water damage and costly repairs to your nonprofit's property. Also, thank you to our guests, Lisa and Lenna, for that valuable look at what Philly Sense can accomplish for nonprofits. On behalf of NonProfit Pro and Philadelphia Insurance Companies, I'm Amanda Cole, and we will see you on the next episode of the NonProfit Voice.
Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the NonProfit Voice. You can listen to more episodes of the NonProfit Voice at nonprofitpro.com/podcast/the-nonprofit-voice. And remember, for your convenience, you can stream any and all episodes of the NonProfit Voice on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify.